Hello and welcome to the Gamer's Advocate. My name is Adam Bankhurst, and in this video series we're going to be looking at everything from video games, entertainment, technology, and everything in between. I really just wanted an outlet to be able to talk about my feelings and my thoughts on the industry and everything awesome going on in the world. And I thought the best way to kick that off would be to talk about my top 5 favorite games of all time. Now these games are the games that have meant the most to me, that have risen above the rest, and have really held a special place in my heart through the thousands, millions, billions of video games that I've played throughout my gaming career, as I like to say. And I'd love at the end of this video to hear yours, to hear your stories, because while this is an outlet for me to talk about my feelings, I love nothing more than hearing from the community and hearing what games mean the most to you and what you would like to see this video series become and topics I want to talk about. I want you guys to be involved, so feel free to subscribe, comment, do all that awesome stuff, and let's start creating something that's really great. But without further ado, I want to start with my number 5 favorite game of all time, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. This is the most recent game that has cracked my top 5 list, and I've gone back and forth between a lot, and I think this one probably kicked off Fallout 3, maybe Pokemon Yellow or Red and Blue as some of my favorite games of all time. But Breath of the Wild just means so much to me and was such an incredible experience, from exploring the world, being able to climb anything, go anywhere, and experience a story in Hyrule and in this world that there was a lot of mystery. And while I did wish for a little more, story in the game, it was all about those little moments that really made a difference and really impacted me. I'll never forget, because, with all these, especially, the Ubisoft games, Assassin's Creed, where you would go to the top of a tower and all the point of interest things would pop up, and that's where you would go and do these things. But in Breath of the Wild, you were exploring and making those points of interest. I remember putting stamps all over the map and exploring and knowing every corner of that whole world. And I think the thing that really pushed Breath of the Wild to my top 5 has to be the memories. And if you're unfamiliar with it, it's these, when you start the game, you have amnesia, forgot what's been going on, all that kind of stuff. And there's these little points on the map where when you get to them, you kind of get woken up and you remember something that happened in your past before you were asleep for 100 years or whatever. And these were so special because, first of all, I shared them with my brother Jordan, and we would search the map and find them, and there were no clues. There was just a simple picture, but you knew because the map was made so well that you knew where they were, or where they were abouts, I guess you could say. And when you found one, it was something so special. And I'll never forget the last one. My brother and I were searching all over the map, and we finally found it kind of at the same time separately. And when we got there and saw the final memory and knew we finished our mission, it was one of the greatest gaming moments I've ever experienced, just without a doubt. I mean, the game does so many things so right, and is a world that I could explore, and I explored for over 100 hours, and I can't wait to jump back in and just keep exploring and finding out all the little secrets. I mean, Terry Town, and working with all the champions and fighting guardians and all the different shrines. It's just something truly special. So Breath of the Wild, number 5. Number 4, Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. This game is probably my entry into video games, and the reason that this game is so special to me, more so than because of how amazing it is and how it revolutionized the platformer genre and really just was so much fun and just pure joy, colors, and amazing platforming, perfect controls. It means so much to me because of who I shared it with. My mom and dad, I remember, I think it was, 1996 maybe, when they finally got me a Super Nintendo and all this. And I will never forget that it wasn't just me experiencing it. It was all 3 of us experiencing it together. I mean, I remember my mom and I would sit up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning trying to rescue the princess and defeat Bowser and explore every level, find every secret. And it's a memory that I see so clearly today. If I close my eyes and look back, this memory just pours right back in. And that is what makes it special, because it transcends just a simple game, simple inputs. It's the feelings that come with them, the memories. And I will never forget spending every night with my family and learning what this amazing world held, and, just obviously playing one of the greatest crafted games of all time. Number 3, Mass Effect 2. I do not have enough good things to say about Mass Effect 2 and the Mass Effect trilogy as a whole, but I think I chose Mass Effect 2 because of the focus it had on your allies and your teammates, and that it was the realization of the promise where your choices would matter, they would carry over, and decisions you made years ago would impact you in your current game. I love the whole premise of a suicide mission where you had to go to the different corners of the galaxy and recruit new members, find old friends, and really build up a team to solve an impossible problem. And who could forget, I mean, this is slight spoilers if you haven't played this game yet, which shame on you, but the suicide mission at the end, it was so amazing because you had to make decisions of where to send your team, which route to go, what to do, how you would succeed. And I made these decisions not based on some stats or something of that nature, but because of the relationships of these characters. I knew the characters. I knew what their strengths were, what their weaknesses were, because so much of the game was focused on learning their backstories, learning what makes them tick. And all these team members, I mean, Garrus and Legion and Mordin and Tali and Liara, they felt like friends. They didn't feel like characters. They didn't feel like something that was fake. They felt like actual living, breathing people or creatures or aliens, whatever you want to call them. And I still fondly remember them and look back on these memories as if they were real. I mean, the writing was so well done, and I felt so vital to the story because each choice I made really did impact the direction things were going. And I will probably do a whole video on my thoughts on the Mass Effect series, but Mass Effect 2, because of its focus on the amazing characters, made it up to my number 3 choice of top 5 games of all time. Number 2, the second Legend of Zelda on this list, but it's such a great series, but The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. This game opened my eyes to the world of Nintendo, to what games could really become. And while I played Super Mario World and it was my first experience and it was more of the feelings and the emotions that I had with that game, Legend of Zelda felt like a living, breathing world. And it was the game that really showed me the power of video games, of music, of story, of different items and puzzles and solving impossible challenges. And it was just such a perfectly crafted game that even when I go back to today, every moment I can just remember it. I mean, I remember because I solved it and I figured it out. And it was such an accomplishment back then, and the gameplay still holds up today. I'm so glad they remade it on 3DS, but this game is just so perfect in my eyes. And it was a tough choice when Breath of the Wild came out because they're both truly incredible games. But Ocarina of Time, just something about the story and the ocarina and the music and the characters just took it over the edge and really made it special. And, once again, there's kind of a theme with this list, but I'll once again never forget when my dad came home one day and he brought home the special gold cartridge of Ocarina of Time, and I had no idea what Zelda was. I mean, we just got an N64 and I wasn't sure exactly what secrets or enjoyment this game would hold, but I just will never forget when I went downstairs and I started playing the game, and in Queen Goma she had this giant cave. I think my TV's brightness was down or something because I thought this was a really long hallway, and I literally must have went in circles for hours or something when all I had to do was look up and start the boss battle. But it just showed like I was stumped at the beginning, and I kept going because I felt an investment and I felt the power that this game was about to bring to my life. And I'm so glad I did because I've played it probably 3 or 4 times to completion, maybe more here and there, and every time I get that experience and that mystery and that wonder and that joy of completing each of the missions and each of the dungeons and finding all the gear and getting the Bigoron sword, and it's something that is truly, truly special to me. And that brings us down to number 1. My favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy VII. I know people say 6 is the best, some people love 9, everyone has their favorite Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasy VII is special to me because, once again, what it did for me and what it means to me. And it goes beyond just being a game, but it's about the experience and the emotion. And like Ocarina of Time, Final Fantasy VII was one of the first games after Ocarina of Time that also showed me what video games could be. what an open world is and an overarching story and finding secrets and characters and leveling up and the whole world of the amazing world of RPGs. And, you know, I rented the game from Blockbuster when I was, I don't know, 6 or 7 maybe. And I played the opening mission and I just didn't get it. I didn't love it. But a few years later, I was at one of my friend's house and he was playing it. He was maybe on the second disc somewhere. I forget exactly where. But I remember sitting down and just watching him for hours and just with my jaw, agape, because I'm in awe of how amazing this game is, how beautiful it was for the time. I still think it holds up. I know some people have issues with it, but I think it looks great. The music and the characters and the materia and the summons, and it was such a special game. And when I finally gave it a second chance, it just blew me away and I never wanted to leave that world. I've beaten this game over 5 times. 100% completion, getting Knights of the Round Table, all the chocobos, finding all the materia, every character, ultimate weapons, ruby and emerald weapon, and I could literally probably sit here, close my eyes, and tell you every part about that game. I listened to the soundtrack. That's another thing that really makes this game special, is the music. When I hear any of those songs, it transports me to the world, to the emotions and the feelings that I had when I first experienced them. And that's what makes this my favorite game of all time, because I have such a great sense of nostalgia and happiness and emotion when I hear anything about Final Fantasy VII. When they announced that Cloud was coming to Super Smash Bros., or they announced that they're going to be remaking Final Fantasy VII, I probably almost passed out from excitement, because that's how special this game is to me. It brings forth emotions that bring light into a darkness, that are there for me when I need them the most, when I'm having a bad day or when things are happening and I hear the music, the battle theme or Aerith's theme or any of these songs. They put a smile on my face and they remind me of a better time where I had no responsibilities, my family was together, everything was, seemed a lot easier, and it brings forth just memories and feelings that really are like a warm blanket or a cup of hot chocolate in the middle of winter. It's something that goes beyond words, and that's why it's my number 1 game. It is everything I could have asked for in a video game and more, and I can't wait to play it on the Switch when it comes out next year, because I can never get enough or buy this game enough, and it is something that I'll forever be grateful for, that game exists and is in my life, and I'm able to play it and on so many different ways, and know that it's always there no matter what's happening in the world. And those are my top 5 games of all time. And as you could see, a lot of them made the list because of what they meant to me and the memories that they helped create and the people I spent them with. And really what makes these games special is they did something that transcended a simple game. And I love that video games can do that you can experience it with other people, that you can really take this medium and have it become an integral part of you and help shape who you are. And these games definitely did that. And I'll look forward to revisiting this list maybe once a year, every other year, because you never know what games might crack that top 5 or how things may shift. But as of right now, those are my top 5 games of all time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Obviously, subscribe and comment and let me know your top 5 videos. Be sure to follow me on Twitter @AdamBankhurst. I also write for IGN, so be sure to check my articles, read everything on IGN, and also stay tuned for a lot more from The Gamers Advocate. We also have a weekly podcast that I'll be posting on YouTube, and if you want to send questions to that, feel free to send them at podcast@thegamersadvocate.com. And like I said, let me know below what you would like this show to become, what topics you would like to see me cover, and what questions I could answer. And I look forward to doing this every week and really just making some awesome content and talking about the amazing world of games, entertainment, technology, and everything in between. So I thank you so much for watching. I wish you the best day and or night, and I will see you next week.